How's it hanging, Jack Tackers, and welcome back to another video for you guys. Today, I'm going to be doing my review for Secret Invasion Season 1, Episode 2, which was titled Promises. And this was another decent episode. I'm really digging the show so far. Wouldn't say it's blown me away or anything, but it's just a solid start these first two episodes have been. And overall, I thought this episode was a good continuation of what was established in the premiere. We see right off the bat that, Maria is in fact dead. That was kind of the big shock that happened at the end of last episode, and a lot of people were kind of going crazy over it. I myself included. If you saw my review last week, I was pretty stunned by what was going on with that. And I'm glad that in this episode, they're kind of sticking with the decision of her being dead. Of course, she still could come back somehow. This is the MCU after all. But I don't know. The scene we got with Nick Fury and Maria's mother in this episode really does make me think she's gone for good, unfortunately. And, I really love her character. But yeah, that was just a solid scene. And I'm really feeling bad for Nick Fury, to be honest. I feel like there's a lot, on his plate right now, which of course there is. And he has to kind of handle things by himself with the Skrulls and all that, or at least he believes he has to. And I'm sure, of course, Maria's death is messing with him quite a bit. And yeah, he's also kind of has to get used to being back on Earth, and he's just kind of like a fish out of water almost right now, and really feeling bad for him. But I think he can get his shit together and kind of move on, hopefully. But this episode continues to show that this series is a bit more serious and not quite as lighthearted as some of the other MCU projects have been. There's a pretty brutal interrogation scene in here with Sonya where she cuts off one of the Skrulls' fingers and tortures him. And also the shootout in that meat locker with Gravik was pretty bloody and intense. I mean, it wasn't like gory, but I don't know. It kind of reminded me of some of the Marvel Netflix shows, to a degree, almost. I wouldn't say it was quite as graphic as some of the stuff in that show. Definitely not nearly as graphic, because those Marvel Netflix shows can get pretty crazy. But I don't know, I'm just kind of enjoying this serious tone, and that interrogation scene with Sonya, Olivia Colman's performance, she's kind of funny, but also very scary and intimidating. Really loving her character in this show, and I really want to see more of her. Of course, we will. But yeah, I just love that scene. She's, intimidating, I would say. And Sonya actually gets some information out of this Skrull, though. And we find out, this is a pretty major plot point that I'm very curious to see how it's going to kind of unfold in these final 4 episodes. And we find out that Gravik's trying to create a machine that can create Super Skrulls. Now, apparently this is a thing in the comics. I'm not too familiar with the Secret Invasion comics or any of the Skrulls storylines in the comics, but I am aware that there has been some Super Skrulls in comics before, and that's definitely going to be a major thing in this series. And it seems like they're kind of borrowing DNA from other aliens that are in the MCU, of course, like Groot, one of the Frost Beasts from Thor as well. And they're all going to kind of combine that and make like this, obviously, machine that can create super powerful Skrulls, which excites me a lot. And I think that'll just increase the threat level of the Skrulls. And already, they're pretty powerful. Of course, things kind of seem a little low-key at the moment, but it is a secret invasion. So, of course, things are going to be happening in secrecy. So it's not really like a large-scale threat at the moment. And, of course, the Avengers aren't getting involved. And we'll talk about that a little bit later in this review. But I do think that these Super Skrulls could be a pretty major threat going forward. And they definitely will be. That's obviously where they're going. We saw a scene in one of the trailers where Gravik has like the same powers as Groot and looked really cool, by the way. I don't exactly know what episode that's going to take place in, but of course it'll probably be soon, and I'm just excited to see that. And at the end of this episode, let's talk about this. We got the reveal that Nick Fury's wife is a Skrull. That is pretty crazy stuff, to be honest. I mean, I know that he had a wife. I believe he mentioned it. I don't remember what movie it was, but he did mention, I feel like, at one point in another MCU film that he did have a wife, but obviously we didn't know that his wife was a Skrull, so that was pretty shocking, and I think it was the same lady that was in the cold opening of this episode, of course, where it flashes back to 1997, where Nick Fury and Talos are kind of greeting with these other group of Skrulls, and they're kind of introducing them to Earth. And obviously we got to see a younger version of Gravik there, which was pretty cool, I suppose. And Gravik is an intimidating villain so far. I'm really liking what they're doing with him. And he's got this council of Skrulls with him. And it's crazy already to see that the Skrulls have infiltrated some of the politics of the world, and they're already kind of high up there and can change some things. And I'm curious just to see how it's all going to unfold. We also got some Rhodey scenes in this episode. They're not doing too much with him just yet, but I'm sure going forward they'll do more and more. He was only in like one scene last episode, but he's in a bit more here. And there's a good scene with him in Fury where Rhodey says he's kind of like aware of the Skrull threat, but he doesn't seem to think it's that big of a deal if the Avengers aren't getting involved. And Nick Fury has to say, like, he has to do this on his own and all that. But it is interesting. I know I've heard some complaints online that people are kind of upset that it's not really feeling like a large-scale event right now. Some people think that this should have been a movie, Secret Invasion, and apparently in the comics it was a bit more crazy and whatnot. But again, we're only 2 episodes in, so I can't really say if the show's a disappointment so far. I mean, it's definitely not for me. I'm enjoying it, of course. But it does kind of make sense the way Nick Fury explains why the Avengers can't get involved, because obviously the Skrulls could like shapeshift into them and then do some terrorist stuff, and that would be a big problem. And this actually kind of made me think, I don't know if I hear anyone else talking about this, maybe this is kind of stupid to think, but I am wondering like if there was any footage of when Gravik kind of shapeshifted into Nick Fury to kill Maria. Is there any footage of that? Like, did anyone see that? Is that going to be shown to anyone? Like, maybe there isn't. There's a little bit of footage from what happened in Moscow, but I don't think anyone ever got footage of that. Maybe I'm just reading too much into it, but like that could cause some stuff for Nick Fury and could get him into some hot water if someone actually thought Nick Fury was the one who killed Maria Hill. Like, man, that could be a bit of an issue. I don't think they're going to go down that route. I think, again, I'm just reading too much into it and kind of over-speculating, but I don't know. I think it's something I wanted to bring up in this review just to see if anyone else was wondering if there is footage of that, and like if anyone saw that, like, oh, Nick Fury killed Maria, and like that could obviously lead into some dangers for Nick Fury going forward. But overall, a solid episode. I think it's just starting to set up more and more things. I think this is, I don't want to say a slow burn, but I do think hopefully come the finale that we will be in for a treat. And I mean, it's already a treat, to be honest. I'm just enjoying to see all these characters. I like the focus on Nick Fury, and I'm really liking all the scenes with him, especially the train scene at the beginning of the episode with him and Talos, where he's kind of talking about his past, being with his mother and all that, when he used to take train rides to Detroit. And I don't know, just like a deeper insight into Nick Fury's character. I like that, because, Nick Fury is a great character. I really enjoy him. And I'm excited to see more of him in this series. He's kind of obviously like the main character right now, so it's just cool to see that. But yeah, I'm still not over it, the reveal that his wife's a Skrull. That's pretty crazy. And I wonder who else is a Skrull. That's another thing that a lot of people are interested in. And I understand it is something that I'm curious about. And I don't know. I hope it's not Rhodey. That'd be bad, man. I would not want it to be Rhodey. At least not this whole time. That'd be too sad if it actually Rhodey was a Skrull this entire time. I would not really enjoy that, but I do think Sonya maybe could be a Skrull somehow. I don't know what that would really do for the overarching plot, but I feel like I don't want characters to just be Skrulls just to be Skrulls, you know what I mean? Like, that'd be kind of dumb. Nick Fury's actually a Skrull. No. What if he is? No, he's not. I just assume everyone's a Skrull. All right, I'm just rambling on, making stupid theories, if you can even call them that. But liked the episode. I wouldn't say it was amazing, but yeah, it's good. It's really laying the groundwork for hopefully a good series overall, because we're only 2 episodes in. I can't judge the series as a whole too much just yet. But really curious to see what you guys have to say about this episode down in the comments. What did you guys think about it? What do you think is going to happen with this kind of Super Skrull plot? Because that's going to be like the central plot line, I feel like, going forward. And I think it'll be really cool, hopefully. But yeah, let me hear your thoughts on this and post your thoughts in comments. But if you liked this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, subscribe if you're new. Check out my Letterboxd and Twitter in the description. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.